A landslide is the collective movement of soil, rock, and debris down a steep slope caused by gravitational pull. Landslides occur in steeply sloping areas as a result of natural or human disturbances. While earthquakes, volcanic disturbances, and droughts are frequently associated with landslides, the majority of them are accompanied by severe rainfall. Despite the fact that there have been a large number of recorded landslides over the years, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Today we are going to talk about the top 10 dangerous landslides. Before we get started with the video, don't forget to smash the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started. Number 10. Kelud Lahars Landslide, Indonesia. On May 19, 1919, the Mount Kelud volcano, located on the Indonesian island of Java, erupted, expelling a gust of water from its crater lake onto the sloping side of the mountain. The chaotic incident resulted in a series of volcanic lahars that plummeted downward onto the villages. Around 40 million cubic meters of water erupted from the crater lake, carrying volcanic material, ash, and silt with it, forming deadly lahars. These murderous lahars ate everything that came their way as they sped downhill. Almost 100 villages were destroyed, killing around 5,100 people. A similar eruption occurred at Mount Kelud in 1966, killing over 200 people. Following that, as a hazard management measure, the Ampera tunnels were constructed to control the crater's water levels. Even now, the atmosphere is favorable to severe lahars, putting the area at risk. It is worth noting that landslides, mudslides, and avalanches are all natural disasters that can cause significant damage. The most dangerous aspect of landslides is that the swiftly moving debris can create unanticipated threats such as damaged water, gas, electric, or sewage lines, increasing the risk of loss of life. Number 9. Veggio Dam Landslide, Italy. The Veggio Dam in Italy was the tallest in the world when it was finished in 1963. However, the dam's construction proved deadly since it sparked considerable seismic activity. This was disastrous for people who lived below the dam. On October 9, 1963, not long after its completion, a massive section of the mountain, the size of a village, crashed into the man-made lake behind the dam. This landslide created a massive tsunami in which a massive amount of water overpowered the dam in an 820-foot wave, engulfing and killing the Piave Valley below with a devastating inundation. With the formation of an inland tidal wave, the force of the fall was so awful that an atomic bomb-like tremendous gust of air demolished the city of Longarone, with just 30 children surviving. The air bomb and tidal wave killed up to 2,500 people, wiping out the city's population and forcing the destruction of many more adjacent towns and villages, despite the fact that the dam was relatively undamaged, keeping 2/3 of the water after this disaster. Number 8. Nevado Huascaran debris fall, Peru. Mount Huascaran is a well-known Peruvian mountain with a snow-capped peak that reaches 22,205 feet. In January 1962, a thaw caused a piece of the mountain's north peak to break off, resulting in a landslide or avalanche that killed almost 4,500 people. The avalanche, known locally as Hueco, involved a gigantic ice sheet estimated to be 1 kilometer broad and 40 feet high. As the ice sheet slid down the slopes, it accumulated rock and debris from the mountain and grew in size, burying numerous towns in Ranrajica beneath it. Number 7. Juarez debris flow, Peru. On that fateful day in December 1941, the people of Juarez and adjacent Peruvian settlements were subjected to a horrendous disaster as a result of the dam's failure. The outflow of the Moreno Dam caused a deluge loaded with debris to collapse onto the Juarez settlement below on December 13, 1941. The dam's function was to contain Lake Palcacoche's glacial meltwaters, preventing the lake's glaciers from melting. The Juarez landslide caused a massive overflow that flooded Juarez City, causing heavy damage and the loss of up to 5,000 lives while also eradicating roughly 1/3 of the town. But the waters and debris continued to wreak havoc as they traveled to the Santa River and across Peru into the Pacific Ocean. Dixie was entirely covered in water, and the entire town of 9,000 to 9,300 inhabitants was devastated. Neighboring communities were also affected by the debris that fell during the landslide. The old settlement is already gone, replaced by a massive Dixie landslide-created lake. Number 6. North India Landslides, India. Heavy rains wreak havoc in India's northern states, and on June 16, 2013, a series of landslides and floods killed over 5,000 people. Since the 2004 tsunami, this has been regarded as one of India's deadliest natural disasters. This event took place in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand. More rain than usual that year exacerbated the situation. The debris from the landslides clogged the waterways, causing huge overflows that resulted in devastating floods. Although torrential rains struck neighboring states such as Haryana, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand was responsible for about 90% of the fatalities. The incorrect development of the slopes in these regions, as well as the lack of construction restrictions, resulted in a confined, probably overcrowded settlement in the risky hilly regions. According to social activists, many individuals died as a result of the area's lack of strong building codes, which allowed residents to build homes on unstable ground. More than 5,700 people were killed, which was later revised to 6,054. Number 5. Yumbe landslide, Peru. Graveyard in Yumbe, Peru, where 22,000 individuals were buried alive by a landslide caused by Mount Huascaran shortly after the 1970 earthquake. The Yumbe landslide occurred on May 31, 1970 in Yumbe, a rural town in Peru, as a result of 3 separate natural disasters. The Huascaran earthquake sparked off a chain reaction of seismic occurrences that destroyed the community. The earthquake caused the glacier on the slope of Mount Huascaran to disintegrate just above the Yumbe settlement, which had a population of roughly 25,000 people. The debris traveled 10.2 miles and carried 50,100 million cubic meters of mud, ice, and rocks down the slope, categorizing this event as a landslide and avalanche. The entire community was turned into a shambles, and only roughly 350 people were miraculously saved, 300 of whom were youngsters who all went to the local circus. According to legend, the circus clown guided them to a tent on higher ground, saving their lives. Today, there are temporary tombstones scattered across the area to commemorate the tragic destiny of those who perished there. Number 4. Armero tragedy, Colombia. The Armero disaster occurred on November 13, 1985 with the eruption of the Nevado del Ruiz stratovolcano near Tolima, Colombia. A dormant stratovolcano erupted unexpectedly, destroying numerous cities and villages. The volcanic surge melted the glaciers in the mountain, causing deadly lahars of ice, snow, and mud to form. They crashed down at incredible speeds of 20 feet per second, wreaking havoc on the residential communities below. The murderous lahars engulfed the entire town of Armero, killing thousands. Many more people were killed in other places, including Chinchin. Approximately 20,000 to 23,000 residents and those living in surrounding villages died as a result of the disaster. Number 3. Kate landslides, Tajikistan. The Kate landslides happened in July 1949 in Tajikistan, above the city of Kate in the Yarhik Valley, which was part of the former Soviet Union at the time. The enormous landslides were caused by the 1949 Kate earthquake, which killed thousands of people. The calamity affected the southern boundaries of Tajikistan's Tian Shan ranges. The nearby valleys of Kate and Yasmin were severely impacted. Approximately 33 communities were buried beneath the rubble, which was caused by the breakdown of unconsolidated loess deposits. A statue of a grieving woman is erected at the site as a memory of this landslide, which is regarded as one of the worst in history. While the entire city and nearby villages and towns were covered by the massive chunk of earth and its debris, it is uncertain how many people died, primarily because the Soviet Union withheld such statistics at the time, but the ultimate death toll was somewhere around 28,000. Number 2. Vargas tragedy, Venezuela. A steady torrent of tenacious heavy rain on the slopes of Sierra de Avila in Venezuela's state of Vargas created the groundwork for thousands of catastrophic landslides around December 15, 1999, which went down in history as the deadliest. The rainstorm caused landslides and floods, damaging adjacent towns and villages while also making it difficult for authorities and rescue crews to work. The landslides buried Carmen de Uria and Cerro Grande completely, and several homes were washed into the ocean. According to reports, nearly 10% of the Vargas population has died. The ruins of a house survived the Vargas tragedy, which occurred on December 15, 1999. The devastation was so severe that the bodies could not be recovered because they had sunk past a point of recovery, and some had even been washed away in the sea as a result of the floods. Only roughly 1,000 bodies were discovered, despite the fact that at least 30,000 people were killed in this landslide disaster. Number 1. Haiyuan landslides, China. The Haiyuan disaster occurred on the evening of December 16, 1920. The 1920 Gansu earthquake triggered 675 large landslides that spread over Gansu province. The 50,000 landslides near the core of Haiyuan County, now known as the Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region, with extensive ground cracking, caused a 3-year succession of aftershocks. Rivers were dammed and their courses were altered. Haiyuan lost more than half of its population, as did its neighbors Gansu and Shaanxi, while one of the landslides buried Ixiji County. The actual number of deaths lost due to the landslides or earthquake is unknown, but the horrible incident occurred during the Chinese Civil War and claimed at least 200,000 lives, making it one of China's deadliest disasters in terms of death toll. That's a wrap on the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.